And welcome back to another episode of Hawks Latest, your number one source for news, updates, rumors, opinions, and you guessed it, the latest and the greatest regarding the Atlanta Hawks. I'm your host, Zach Langley, aka Langley ATL. Today we've got a full slate of updates to break down for you. It's the 123rd episode of Hawks Latest presented by FanArch, so hopefully you guys have been enjoying the ride. I know I have, but like I said, today we have a whole lot to break down. I know we're in a little bit of a different setting today. This is kind of a test run with this new environment. Hopefully it turns out well. It should. I don't think there should be any problem with it, but I guess we'll see at the end of this recording. But from roster shuffling to player development and newfound stability in the backcourt, and even a potential look at a free agent signing, because, even though we are a good bit into the season, good bit might be a little bit of a stretch. I mean, we are still just like 2 weeks into the year, but free agency continues, into a certain time into the season, and Atlanta has one roster spot available, as we all know, because I have covered that a good bit on this channel. But yeah, so with Trae Young out, Atlanta may potentially look to bring in another guard, and so I'm going to break down a prospect that Atlanta could look to bring in. So there's a lot going on in the Atlanta basketball world. We'll start with the Hawks' latest G League assignments, and there's a name in there that might catch people by a little bit of a surprise, including a closer look at rookie Asa Newell and how this move may end up shaping his development, because College Park is a very good developmental program, so there's some pros and some cons of him being demoted down to the G League. Then we're going to discuss Dyson Daniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, two of Atlanta's guards who have been killing it in the absence of Trae Young and have been keeping Atlanta's season afloat with their stellar play on both ends of the floor. And then, we're going to dive into Mo Gay, one of Atlanta's fan favorites. I know Hawks fans love him, and I'm certainly enjoying watching him just become a very serviceable NBA player, something that not a lot of people had expected. But yeah, he's killing it, and he's low-key been Atlanta's X factor. So we'll break down all of his breakout performances of the recent days and finish with a look at why Cam Payne, of all people, could be a smart depth signing for Atlanta in the near future if they choose to go the free agency route to help their guard room. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it and start with the Atlanta Hawks made some notable roster moves just a couple of days ago. They sent 5 players down to their G League affiliate, the College Park Skyhawks. And shout out to the Skyhawks, man. What a great developmental program. A bunch of great people involved within that organization. So, it's never a bad thing when you see players get assigned to the College Park Skyhawks, but it can come as a little bit of a surprise, including one of the names here. The players that were assigned to the G League are Asa Newell, Nafali Dante, Nikola Jurisic, Caleb Houston, and Jacob Toppin. The Skyhawks season actually kicks off today. In the G League tip-off tournament just yesterday, the Skyhawks had announced their full roster, including all of Atlanta's two-ways, so the guys that are going to be spending time with both College Park and Atlanta, and so we're gonna break down all of that. Which this right here, this original the tip-off tournament in the G League to start the season is going to give these players some much-needed minutes and developmental reps. Nikola Jurisic is actually hurt, so he's not going to be playing. Poor Nico has been dealing with such poor injury luck since entering the NBA. That has really kind of plagued his early seasons. His early 2 years in the NBA. He hasn't really gotten to have a whole lot of action on the court. So hopefully he can break out of that curse sometime soon and really just find himself in a rotation somewhere. And so let's be honest, none of the 5 players that we've listed, whether that's Newell or Jurisic or Dante or Toppin, none of them have really cracked Atlanta's regular rotation yet. Now, even a guy like Nafali Dante, who many expected to see real minutes as the third center kind of behind Porzingis and Okongwu. He was brought in later in the offseason, and he was kind of looked at as an underrated pickup, just considering what he's proven in the NBA so far and his potential as a lob threat for Trae Young. But he was a guy who only got 6 minutes in a singular game during Kristaps Porzingis' brief absence because of that illness in the early parts of the season. I know a lot of Hawks fans were a little bit worried when KP went down with that injury at first. Not injury, with that illness at first, because they were like, crap, this guy's only played 2 games. We knew he was injury prone, but we didn't think it was going to be this bad, just this early into the season, not playing any of the back-to-backs. That since has been under control. He missed those couple of games, and then he immediately came back, and he's been playing every single game. He's been pretty durable so far, so fingers crossed that continues to be a trend. But yeah, even in that short time where Porzingis was out, Dante didn't really get many minutes. He actually kind of shared minutes with rookie Asa Newell, who Atlanta took with the 22nd overall pick in this year's draft, in that draft night trade with the New Orleans Pelicans, where the Hawks traded down and then New Orleans traded up for Derek Queen. We selected our guy Asa Newell, a guy that we were probably going to select at 13 regardless. And he stands as a very intriguing case in all of this because in his actual NBA minutes that he's gotten, which is already a whole lot more than any of these other G League guys have gotten, because, Asa was picked in the first round this year, and so we didn't expect him to get big rotation minutes, but another instance of, the early season injuries and illnesses, he was someone who got early season action. And in that little action he got, he killed it. The rookie made the most of his limited opportunities. He turned heads in his NBA debut, which was probably the most impressive one. Actually, that's not true. I might have said something a little too early, because he had a much more impressive performance in his second performance. That's actually one of only 2 performances of the season. But in his NBA debut against the division rival Orlando Magic, who the Hawks are now 2-0 in the season series against, so that is absolutely huge for the program. Newell, he helped the Hawks close an 8-point gap with an 8-0 run when he got his few minutes in his NBA debut. He didn't play a whole lot, but he was one of the key contributors in those limited minutes he got. He developed a very nice 2-man game with Trae Young. I think both of his baskets, because he only scored 4 points, and I think just 4 minutes, both of them were assisted by Trae Young. One was a corner 3, and one was a lob. And that lob got everyone hyped up, and yeah, it looks like he has a great early connection with Trae Young, which, Young going down with that injury and Newell getting sent to the G League, it doesn't sound as surprising as it may, originally have been. He followed that up though, and the biggest performance from Asa Newell was the double-double performance against the defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. He had 12 points and 10 rebounds, and he was 3 of 5 from deep. His ability to let it fly early in the season has been remarkable, and I wish that he's gotten a little more action to kind of prove that he's doing that on a consistent basis. But yeah, his 3-point percentages have been awesome, and he's doing that at great volume, and he's done that so far in his 2 actual NBA games. And this comes as a surprise to some. It doesn't come as a surprise to me, because I've always been super high on Asa's shot. I've always said, even like right after we drafted him, I was like, this is a guy who, that 3 ball might not have looked great in college, but the mechanics are there. The form looks incredible, and he's always been confident in letting it fly. And so in the summer league with the Atlanta Hawks 2K26 Summer League team, he played a little bit of power forward and center action, and in those minutes he was getting a pretty healthy 3-point volume, and he was connecting. He shot, I think, over 42% from deep in the Las Vegas Summer League this year, and so that immediately translated to the NBA, where he was just letting it fly from deep, and it was nice. And so despite those flashes, though, he never really earned a legit spot in the rotation, and that shouldn't come as a surprise, because the guy we're going to be talking about in a little bit, Mo Gay, who also plays the same position as Newell, has been killing it, and honestly, he's probably been much more impactful on both ends of the floor. So it's a reminder that, even when an NBA player looks ready to, or a young NBA player looks ready to kind of, come out and give that consistent night-by-night play, consistent minutes are something that have to be earned. And Mo Gay earned a spot in the rotation last year, and he's been awesome in those minutes. But yeah, it's not something that Asa is going to find in his rookie season. But he's someone who Atlanta values very highly, and he's going to be a very important piece to this organization in the near future. It's going to take a year, maybe 2, for him to get really acclimated into the full rotation, but the potential is high, and he kind of is everything you want in a modern-day NBA big man. Some of the other guys that got sent down to the G League, Caleb Houston and Jacob Toppin, both of them are on 2-way contracts. They were listed on the College Park Skyhawks finalized roster heading into their season, which tips off tonight. And he remains the only player, and Nikola Jurisic, he remains the only player on Atlanta's NBA roster who has yet to make his debut. And he's technically, he's a rookie technically, but he was drafted in the second round last year and went straight to the College Park Skyhawks and played some ball there, but never suited up for the Hawks. And he still has it this season, and that might not come for quite some time. He's much more of a project and a developmental piece than some of these other guys that we have listed. And Houston and Toppin, who we just talked about before we mentioned Jurisic, they logged just 10 minutes this season, so clearly they were not a big part of the team. So when they're getting these reps in College Park, that's meaningful for them, because instead of just rotting on the bench, they're getting some real playing action, and all of that stuff is going to help them improve and become quality NBA rotation players at some point in the future. It's going to help them find their rhythm and their confidence, especially for a guy like Caleb Houston, who was with Orlando, and then he hasn't really found that role with Atlanta yet, and he's a sharpshooter. He's a guy who's going to have a high three-point volume and not do a whole lot else. And with that, when you're that archetype, you need reps. You need to get up shots in game. It's very different from getting up shots in warmups and getting up shots in game. And so you need all those in-game reps that you can get. So the G League is going to be awesome for him. And so Dante and Newell's cases are very different from the other three guys because both of them have seen the floor and they impressed in short bursts. I mean, Newell definitely impressed a little more than Dante, which is why I definitely expected Dante to get sent down. I didn't with Newell. But there's no problem with that, given their youth and the depth at the big positions that Atlanta has. They're going to shuttle between Atlanta and College Park throughout the season. Newell's probably going to spend the less amount of time with College Park, just considering his role with the team is definitely a little more important. But yeah, and that is just nothing to be upset about. I mean, College Park is an awesome developmental program. Some examples of that, and another thing that we can kind of compare it to. Is Jalen Johnson. He averaged a 20-point double-double with the College Park Skyhawks, and so we can kind of use that as a gauge with Asa Newell. If Asa can put up similar stats, we're looking at a guy who could potentially become a future All-Star. I mean, not to overreact, but that's a great, kind of determining factor. If they can dominate in the G League, they usually will pan out in the NBA one way or another. That's not saying they're going to become a superstar, but they are someone who are going to be able to impact the games in real NBA game action. So ultimately, with Trae Young sidelined for at least a month now, and the Hawks still fighting to stay competitive in the early season. We're right at 500 right now. We've actually got the Toronto Raptors at home tonight, so hopefully we can get a little bit of revenge against them. I mean, they can't afford to hand out developmental minutes. I mean, they've got to win. They've got to stay afloat in the Eastern Conference, so when Trae Young comes back, this team can be as good as ever. The assignments make sense. You keep the young guys active, sharp, and ready when their number is called, which can come at any point in the season when Atlanta faces any sort of injury in the front court. So now let's go ahead and move on and talk about two guys who have been playing some absolutely awesome basketball as of late. A little more of Dyson as of late, but Nickeil has been killing it all season. So Atlanta's start to the 2025-26 season has been nothing short of unpredictable. And you can say that about any Hawks season in recent times. I mean, this is not a team you can predict, what their success is going to be, what their outlook is going to look like. So Atlanta's sitting at 4-4, and they've battled through injuries and rotation experiments and a lot of scrutiny for some of these rotation decisions. I know Quinn has faced a lot of heat for that, especially the decisions that he makes sometimes with Keaton Wallace and not playing Vit Krejci or Mo Gay as many minutes as he probably should. And then also we got to consider the recent MCL sprain to Atlanta superstar guard Trae Young. But amidst the uncertainty, two names have quietly stabilized the backcourt and just kind of aided Atlanta in some of these recent wins. Dyson Daniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So Atlanta has actually won 3 out of their last 4 games, and Trae Young got hurt technically 4 games ago, and so whether you want to count that as a game that Trae Young played in or not, I mean, he literally got hurt in the first quarter, so I could see why you wouldn't. But Atlanta's lost to Cleveland. Nickeil really killed it, and this isn't, and so did Dyson, but we're going to break down that specifically. He looked comfortable stepping into the lead guard role because position by position, they actually have Nickeil as the point guard, even though Dyson is probably doing a little bit more playmaking than Nickeil is in general. But in this game, Nickeil averaged, he put up 16 points and 5 assists, and it wasn't great efficiency-wise. I mean, Nickeil hasn't been great efficiency-wise all season, but the volume has been super high. It's been career-high volume. It's actually been some of the highest volume on the team in general, and his composure, that really stood out. Against Orlando, he built on that momentum. He dealt with a little bit of turnover issues, and so, but that's expected because he's in a role that he's not necessarily comfortable in, but he's still shining. He's still aiding Atlanta in these wins. He finished with another strong outing as the team's primary ball handler, and he had 7 turnovers in that game. And so definite growing pains there. But all of this is going to be good for when Trae Young comes back. I mean, all of these guys are still in the middle of figuring out how to create their own shots, not only for themselves, but for their teammates. And it's going to benefit Atlanta down the line. Absolutely. What matters is that Alexander Walker is getting reps orchestrating the offense. And when he's doing that, the team is maintaining a good bit of rhythm. It's not like in former times when Trae Young has gone down, the offense has just completely stalled out. The offense has looked good in the past few games. Now, immediately when Trae Young went down in the Nets game and then in the game after, the offense looked rough, and that's no surprise. That should come as no surprise to absolutely anybody. When you a guy who is taking up that much of the offense and that much of the ball handling duties goes down, you got to really change up your scheme a good bit. So it's going to take some time to adjust. But I've really liked what I've been seeing out of the offense in the past several games. And guys like Nikhil and Dyson and even Jalen Johnson have been big parts in that. Meanwhile, and we're going to talk a little bit now about Dyson Daniels. He's starting to show why the Hawks gave him that massive. I can't even really say massive. I mean, the Hawks got him at a bargain, but that extension. Right before the season, which kind of what we predicted was going to happen. He got that $25 million a year for 4 years contract, and it's looking like a steal. And a lot of people were overreacting after the first few games of the season where Dyson's offense looked really bad. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, he was really struggling, but he's gotten it together in the past few games without Trae Young, and Atlanta has seriously needed him too. Against the Cleveland Cavaliers, he had 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 steals, because there goes Dyson Daniels. Of course, he's got to rack up his steals. He shooted 67% from the floor. And then after that, he followed it up with a near-perfect night against the Orlando Magic. And that was a very big win for Atlanta. And then Dyson was a huge part of that. He had 18.6 boards and 6 assists and 2 steals. He actually only missed 1 shot. He was 8 of 9 from the floor. And he was doing a great job getting to the rim. His aggression as a slasher and a transition finisher in recent games has been key. He's not just defending. I mean, he's dictating pace on offense, and he's punishing these mismatches. The game against Orlando was some of the easiest time I've ever seen Dyson be able to get to the rim. I mean, he was kind of spamming that spin move that he always does when he's driving from the top of the key. His floater was falling, and that wasn't something that was happening in the early season. So he's getting it together offensively. There's no reason to panic about Dyson, because he was obviously going to get it together, and he has. He's been awesome. Shout out to Dyson Daniels. This stretch without Trae has revealed some stuff that might be encouraging to a lot of Hawks fans. They can play effective, balanced basketball even without their lead offensive generator. Quinn Snyder's system is showing some flexibility, and they're really capitalizing on the versatility of this roster. There's so many different contributors. The team's depth is definitely the strongest that it's ever been in the Quinn Snyder, Trae Young era. If guys like Daniels and Naw continue this form, they're going to make life so much easier for Trae to come back to when he's healthy back from his injury. Now, a lot of people are going to rebuttal that with we're going to probably be worse with Trae. And when he comes back those first 2 games, it's going to be another adjustment period, because then they're going to get used to playing without him. It's going to take some time to get used to playing with him, which is why an injury like this early in the season just sucks, because there's so much adjustments. There's so many adjustments to make, and they're not getting they're not able to get comfortable with each other's play styles right now, and so that's kind of shortening the development period. But yeah, so when he comes back, it's going to be a little bit rough at first, but now with everything that they're putting together in his absence, and then when he comes back and he gains his step after a few games, this team's going to be lethal. Probably the best in the Eastern Conference. I can't even lie. This is going to be one of the deepest rotations in the entire NBA, but definitely in the Eastern Conference. So moving on, heading into the season, Hawks fans were expecting, they weren't necessarily expecting Mo Gay to have the season that he has been having so far. I mean, all the newcomers have gotten all the attention. Guys like Kennard, Naw, even Jalen Johnson, who only played 36 games last season and was looking for his real first official full season breakout this season. I mean, a lot of people expected those guys to become the X factor for Atlanta, and that's a term that's thrown around very loosely at times. But yeah, there's no doubt about who has been Atlanta's X factor this season. That honor so far, 2 weeks into the season, belongs to Mo Gay. Now in his 3rd year with the Atlanta Hawks and just the NBA in general, Gay has blossomed into a high-energy, high-impact forward who thrives on defensive intensity and versatility. His performance against Paulo Paolo Banchero in the Orlando Magic was an absolute statement. I mean, using his giant frame and quick feet and ability to cut to suffocate one of the East's young scorers, one of their best young scorers, who's definitely having a very rough early season. I mean, he was awesome. Mo is giving Paolo a really tough time. I mean, through 2 games against the Orlando Magic now. I mean, Paolo just cannot do anything when Mo Gay is guarding him, or even when he knows Mo Gay is on the court. I mean, his shot blocking is incredible. His ability to stay with guys who may weigh a little bit more, it's been awesome to watch. He's not someone who's going to be starting really anytime other than when there's an injury to either Jalen Johnson or actually that's really it. I mean, when Porzingis goes down or Okongwu goes down, one of the other two will just switch in for if KP goes down and Yeka will slide in. If Yeka goes down and KP will just stay in that starting lineup. But if both of them go down, I mean, we may see some Mo at the center minutes. I know so far in this season, some of the Jalen on-off minutes have looked a little weird, but when Jalen shares the front court with Mo Gay, the minutes have looked great. I mean, they haven't played a whole lot of minutes together because they haven't had Mo at the center a whole lot, but in those short minutes, it looks like a very effective lineup. So maybe that's something they can experiment with if both Porzingis and Okongwu go down. We gotta hope that both Porzingis and Okongwu don't go down though, because that could be rough. Because while Mo is great and can play the center, there's not much depth after that. I mean, like I said, Atlanta's front court room is loaded, so the fact that we're even getting quality Mo minutes right now, it comes as a little bit of a surprise. And honestly, some fans are a little upset with the fact that he hasn't been playing as many minutes as they want him to, or really as he should, because he's that much of a high-impact player so far in the season. I mean, Atlanta's got guys like Jalen Johnson and Zachary Rizice and Porzingis and Okongwu, and he's carving out a legitimate rotation role. He's kind of forcing Quinn Snyder to play him. I don't know if that was the original early season plan, but with the way that he has impacted the game in just several ways, in each of these season games that he's played in so far, Snyder can't keep him on the bench. It's the reality. I mean, he is that good now at this point. I mean, through 8 games, the numbers don't show his whole impact, because while the numbers actually still look good, I mean, he's averaging just 15 minutes a game, and he's putting up almost 7 points, 4 rebounds, and a block per game in those limited minutes. Those don't paint the full picture. I mean, Atlanta goes on runs literally every single time he checks onto the floor, and literally pull up the film. He is doing that. He is that impactful. They don't tell the full story. His energy is changing the flow of games. I mean, he's contesting every shot. He attacks the glass, which is, his rebound numbers are a little bit up this year, and I expect him to continue to go up because Atlanta has needed a major rebounding boost, and Mo Gay has given them that in spurts. He keeps opposing forwards uncomfortable, especially from our division rival, the Orlando Magic, Paolo Banchero. If he continues on this trajectory, and I really hope he does, and he really should, because he actually he started playing basketball literally a few years before he got drafted. So I mean, he's still a very, very, very raw prospect, and he's putting together a great season so far. And the fact that he's carved out an actual rotation spot for the Atlanta Hawks, for an NBA team, and only started playing basketball a select number of years ago, I mean, Atlanta may have a real legit rotation piece and maybe future starter on their team. He could evolve into Atlanta's defensive glue piece. I mean, especially with the way Johnson and Porzingis have been on the defensive end this season, which has been terrible. I mean, they've both been good offensively, but yeah, neither of them have been able to defend anything down low or on the perimeter, and Gay has kind of saved them at times. So he's going to be a player every team, every contender needs during a long playoff run, and he's going to be crucial to Atlanta at the end of the season. So hopefully he stays healthy and just continues to kill it. I've been really happy with what I've seen from Mo Gay, and I'm sure you guys have been as well. So now, finally, let's go ahead and address the one roster spot that the Hawks still have open, and why this veteran guard might be a perfect fit to fill it. Now, this is not necessarily realistic, but it is an idea that I wanted to present to you guys, because a few videos ago we had broken down why DeLon Wright could be a good fit after Trae Young went down, and maybe even a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie, because DeLon Wright's more of a defensive-minded guard who wouldn't fill the void that Trae Young is giving it, the void that Trae Young left when he went down. Spencer Dinwiddie is more of an offensive focused guard, and he'd be more of an offensive option. Another, mainly offensive option, if Atlanta chose to go the route of free agency, would be Cam Payne. He might be the perfect fit. Atlanta's guard depth is seriously being tested without Trae Young, and while Keaton Wallace has been improving, and fans have been a little bit frustrated with his minutes in the first few games of the season, but I mean, they've been a little quiet in the past few games. Keaton has kind of provided us with a little bit of a spark on both ends of the floor. He's also been shooting the three ball extremely well this season, and I know Quinn Snyder certainly loves him. So he's going to stay in the rotation, whether Hawks fans like it or not. Now his minutes have been decreasing a little bit. He's recently started not playing first quarters at all, and then Quinn will start the second quarter with him kind of leading that unit. And who knows what his role is going to look like when Young comes back. But I mean, yeah, he's been pretty good. But again, he's still developing. He's very young, but he is improving. And he wouldn't give us the same contributions that a guy like a seasoned offensive-minded guard would bring. I mean, a guy like Campaign, who he could bring some much-needed steadiness to the second unit. And this is why Atlanta kept an open roster spot to where something like this happens. They have optionality. Maybe don't even play him. Maybe you bring him in. Maybe you still just play Keaton Wallace the minutes that you would give him. If Atlanta suffers another injury to the guard room, then you can consider playing him. I mean, this is a guy who will take an NBA roster spot if it's given to him. You give him a 1-year minimum, bam. But at 31, let's look at the numbers a little bit. He remains a capable playmaker and decent offensive scorer. Last season, with the New York Knicks, one of Atlanta's rivals, he appeared in 72 games, so he was a quality rotation player for them. He averaged 7 points and nearly 3 assists while shooting 36% from deep. So I know his actual field goal percentage wasn't incredible, but it wasn't bad. And Atlanta is not shy from going towards more inefficient guards. And that's no shade to anyone, but it's the realisticness of the situation. Payne has been around the league. He's definitely someone who has been a little bit of a journeyman, over the past few seasons. He went from OKC to Phoenix to Milwaukee to Philly and then to New York, which was where he was last season. But he's not someone who's been like a non-impact player in his NBA career so far. He brings playoff experience. I mean, he's a guy who's been in the playoffs several times. He also brings some leadership and some much-needed pace because he is someone who plays fast and that he would fit into Atlanta's identity and kind of fill kind of a little bit of a Trae Young role. I mean, not necessarily, not anywhere close to the actual offensive output that Trae Young brings, but he's kind of a similar player, just worse, really. I mean, like I wanted to make that sound a little more professional, but I mean, he's just a much worse Trae Young, and you know what? Atlanta could use someone like that because they don't want to make the adjustment period when Trae Young comes back be like longer than it should be, and so I kind of like the idea of a guy like Campaign, but let me know down below what you guys would think. But like I said, low risk, high reward signing who could mentor some of the young guards. I know people do like him in the locker room. He's not someone who causes a lot of controversy, and he could provide some immediate insurance if injuries persist and Atlanta just starts to see some real struggle out of Keaton Wallace, which is possible, but I believe in Keaton. But in a season where every single game matters and the team's primary creator is sidelined for an extended period of time, nothing is really off the table, and that kind of veteran stability could make all the difference between Atlanta falling down into the standings without their star guard or staying afloat and being ready for his comeback and to take over the Eastern Conference when he does. So to wrap up today's episode, the Hawks' developmental strategy is clear. They're balancing winning now with building for the future and sending young talent to College Park while leaning on capable role players like Daniels, who's emerging as a really good scorer, and Alexander Walker, who's having the best offensive season of his career so far, and Mo Gay, who's been an absolute defensive standout to hold down the fort, and they've done a great job of that so far. With Trae Young's recovery ongoing, and it's going to be ongoing for probably another month, this stretch could define Atlanta's early season identity and possibly their long-term direction. If the chemistry continues to build, and if the Hawks can find one more veteran piece, maybe with their final roster spot, maybe like a guy like Campaign, this group could come out of this stretch sharper, deeper, and more resilient than before. So that's going to do it for today's episode of Hawks Latest. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single update here on the channel. We're going to be pumping out videos every single day, keeping you guys informed on the latest and the greatest regarding the Atlanta Hawks. But let me know down below, what are your thoughts on Asa and company being sent down to the G League? I certainly like it for him, whether you believe so or not. But let me know down below your thoughts on that. Also, your thoughts on Dyson and Nikhil's recent play and Mo Gay's standout defensive play and improving offensive game. Also, the idea of bringing Campaign to the roster kind of as a depth point guard who doesn't have to play all the time, but could be an offensive creator when Atlanta needs it. Let me know all of that down below. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Zach Langley, aka Langley ATL, and I will see you guys next time.